Welcome, everybody, to the City of Farmers Branch City Council meeting for Tuesday, February 3rd. Our first order of business will be our invocation and our pledges, so if you would, please join me. Heavenly Father, first let me say thank you. Thank you on behalf of all who are gathered here today. Thank you for your many and abundant blessings. Thank you for life itself, for the measure of health we need to fulfill our callings, for sustenance, and for friendship. Thank you for the ability to be involved in useful work and for the honor of bearing appropriate responsibilities. Thank you also for giving us wisdom amid the conflicting interests and issues of our times, a sense of the welfare and true needs of our neighbors, a keen thirst for justice and rightness, confidence in what is good and fitting, the ability to work together in harmony even when there is honest disagreement, and personal peace in our lives and joy in our task. I pray for the agenda set before us today. Please give us an assurance of what would please you and what would benefit those who live and work in and around our beloved city. It is in your most blessed name we pray. Amen. Amen. If you would please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now for the Texas Pledge. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Next up are items of community interest.
Hello, we have a few items of community interest. Great news, Farmers Branch. The city has earned LEED Gold certification through the U.S. Green Building Council's Lead for Cities rating system. This prestigious designation highlights the city's unwavering commitment to sustainability, public health, and economic resilience. This achievement is a direct result of strategic investments and serves as a testament to the dedicated efforts of the City Council, staff, and the Sustainability Department. Create unforgettable memories on February 7th at the Community Recreation Center for our Night in Paris dance from 6 to 8 p.m. Daughter and their fathers will enjoy a magical evening featuring a live DJ dancing in a themed photo to mark the occasion. You still have time to buy tickets. Call 972-247-4607 to reserve your spot. Next, we have, please join Councilwoman Elizabeth Villafranca for a town hall meeting next Tuesday at 6 p.m. right here at City Hall. This is your opportunity to get direct updates on District 4 projects, whether you have a specific question or just want to stay informed about our community's future. We want to see you here. All residents are welcome to attend. The musical portrait of Johnny Cash, Ring of Fire, is currently open for tickets sales through February 13th. The production features a cast of multi-instrumentalists performing more than 24 of Cash's greatest hits to tell a story of struggle and success. Tickets are available at the Firehouse Theater website. And as always, you can sign up for City E-News at farmersbranchtx.gov or by scanning the QR code on screen. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd just like to add to that, our city went through a little weather event that was trying for everybody, and we had a lot of heroes out there, the ones you saw every day, police and fire, which were doing their work, but we had a lot of unseen and unsung heroes. And so I just wanted to take a moment to mention and thank some of our team members who aren't the most visible. You don't see them, but they are They were out there. They were helping to keep the city running because there was a lot of stuff that needed to be taking place, even though the roads were pretty much impassable. But our folks in Public Works who sanded streets and fixed broken pipes, maintained facilities and vehicles, they were there. You may not have seen them, but they were out there. And also our folks in the city manager's office, finance and accounting, the parks department, and other internal functions. These folks were working behind the scenes. You didn't see them, but they were all working to try to make sure that if needed, we had warming center that would be open. If needed, they could address any building damage. You know, some residents had broken pipes. Well, we needed to watch out for our buildings also. So thank you. Thank you to all of them for doing what they did. So thank you for letting me mention them. Next up are our public comments. Each resident or each person who speaks will have a 3-minute time limit. All speakers shall comply with the city's rules of decorum. When you come up to the podium, please state your name and address. Your time will start, and when the light turns red, that is your time to stop and be done. So we have 3 speakers this evening. The first one is David Jones.
My name is David Jones, and we own a home at 3554 Golfing Green Drive. And we're here this evening to again urge City Council to continue your efforts to secure a new negotiated agreement with DART prior to our February 27th deadline. But if we are not successful in finalizing a new agreement with DART, let's pump the brakes, call off our election in May, and if it makes sense, we can schedule an election in November. And by doing so, we'll still be within our every 6-year window of opportunity to do just that. Please note that the original vote by this City Council to have an election in May was not unanimous. It was 3-2 and could have easily gone the other way. We understand that much effort and time has been expended to negotiate a new agreement with DART, and the comments made by Farmers Branch leadership during our recent State of the City event conveyed palpable frustration that a new agreement has not yet been reached with DART. We have used the threat of holding an election as leverage to encourage DART to engage directly with us. In our December 17th letter to DART, we laid out 10 demands, knowing full well that all 10 could not be agreed to by DART, but could serve as a starting point for negotiations. By working in lockstep with other larger member cities, we multiplied our leverage on DART to encourage DART to come to the table and work with us to produce a new agreement. February 27th is the last date we can call off our planned election in May. If we do not have a new agreement in place by February 27th, then we will lose all leverage with DART on February 28th, the next day, when all negotiations with DART will come to a screeching halt. There will be zero incentive for DART to work with Farmer Branch or any other member city until they know the outcomes of the pending elections. It will be pencils down, and DART will wait until May 2nd to see which member cities are in and which member cities are out. If we hit pause on February 27th and retain our right to hold an election in November, we will regain all our leverage with DART. Such a strategic pause will give us very valuable time to see if any of the other member cities are successful in securing a new agreement with DART. And more importantly, we can learn from the experience of other member cities who do vote to pull out of DART. What worked well for them? What were their pain points? What were their lessons learned? We can observe in real time how many of the ride-sharing companies that we are currently evaluating, like Via, handle the sudden pullout of cities like Plano, for example. And we'll be able to see how the citizens of those cities who do vote to pull out are directly impacted by such a pullout. Here's our ask of City Council. If we cannot negotiate a new agreement with DART by February 27th, then let's call off the rush to the DART exits, cancel our election in May. If it makes sense later in the year, we can participate in an election in November, thereby regaining our leverage with DART and ensuring that we make an informed decision on how best to serve all residents of Farmers Branch. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next up is Charles Cato. Chief Charles Cato.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and honorable members of the council. I wanted to speak earlier on the item that was in the study session. I didn't realize it was then, but there's a study of Department of Criminology from University of Pennsylvania about the transit impact on crime. It's a 27-year longitudinal study in the Los Angeles metropolitan area from 1988 to 2014. And they also had 2 extended strikes during that time. And so what the study found after 27 years was the transit system did not have any impact on crime in the neighborhoods around them. So I have that study available if you'd like to see it. I'm a member of the Police Executive Research Forum in Washington, D.C. in the American Society for Evidence-Based Policing. So I read research all the time. That's what I do. I'd like to give you a report on some of your crime for 2025. So at the Farmers Branch Station for 2025, we had 12 reported offenses from January 1 to December 31st. 12 crimes reported there. We had 6 arrests there. Overall, we had 673 calls for service at that station. At the station there, 21% of those calls, 52 came from 911. Your 911 system rolled over to us. 28 people called in by phone, another 62 by text message. That's 142. So 21% of the 673 calls for service came in by other people. The rest of those, 79%, came from a DART employee. So we're present on the system, we watched it on a camera, we dispatched a police officer, or we made contact with somebody at that station, self-initiated. So we're working that station just as we do all of our stations diligently. Overall, the city of Farmers Branch, of those 673 calls, we answered 118,000 calls last year as a police department. So the city of Farmers Branch accounted for 0.57 of 1% of our overall calls for service. So we track all the stations, all the locations, all the cities for calls for service, for crimes, for arrest. And so far in January of this year, January 1 to just January 31st, we had 0 crimes reported, no aggravated assaults, no crimes at all reported at the station. We only had 1 arrest at the station, and that was an emergency detention. That means somebody was in such a mental health crisis that we had to they presented themselves as a danger to themselves or the people. We took them into custody and took them to a mental health facility, to a hospital. So no crimes reported. We had 65 calls for service, 4 from 911, 3 from a phone call, 3 from text message. The other 85% were answered or initiated by us, by a DART employee. And so just let you know and rest assured that as the chief of police of DART, I'm very aware of the crime at all the stations. I track everything every week, every month. I have every 15 days, I have a meeting with my staff and reallocate resources as necessary. So I just want to assure you of that. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Chief. Next up is Rinkesh Desai.
Good evening. My name is Rinkesh Desai, 1753 Hanover Court, Farmers Branch, 75234. City Council members, Mayor, thank you so much for your service. We really appreciate it. And thank you to all those that supported us during the ice storm. I didn't leave my house, but what I wanted to come here to talk about is about DART. And I know there's been a lot of conversations in regards to we're not getting feedback from them. They're not telling us what's next. And it's almost like a waiting game of chicken and who's going to be first to kind of move out of the way. February 27th is a really important date, as the gentleman earlier had mentioned. If we pull out on February 27th so that we don't include it as part of the May 2nd election, that gives us a bit more leverage than other cities. We also know that there's a cost associated to leaving DART. We need to identify what that cost is going to look like and then what we can do to help reduce that impact. There's also an impact to residents. There's a lot of residents who don't ride it. Those residents are going to see more traffic on the roads. The residents who do ride it, well, they're not going to have access that they need in order to get to work or get to a loved one's house. So as the gentleman said before, I'd really request all of us to consider February 27th, before Feb 27th, to take it off the ballot. Thank you.
That is all the speakers that we have this evening. So next up is our consent agenda.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
Mr. Mayor, I'll second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. If you would, please indicate your vote. Motion passes. Thank you very much. Let's see. Next up are regular agenda items. First item is discuss and provide direction to staff on the reactivation of the Sister City program.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council. Darren Harris, Deputy Director of Economic Development. Today, I'll be giving you an update on the Sister City program. The purpose of the program is to facilitate the discussion and reactivation of the Sister City program and to give you the future scope of the program as well. Just to give you a brief background, the Sister City program was established in 1956 by President Dwight D. Eisenhower to promote peace through mutual respect, understanding, cooperation, one community at a time. At the last council meeting, all of you had consideration for reactivation of the program and sought to seek partnerships with our neighboring sister cities. We reached out to the existing sister cities, and so far we only heard response back from Basel expressing the interest in reactivation with respect to cultural and business economic benefits. The current approved budget for the program is set at $20,000 for every 5-year visitation. And you asked us to look at potential approaches for the program, and these are three potential approaches for the program. One will be a sister city relationship to help small and mid-sized firms explore international markets. The second will be to look at 1 to 3 priority areas to do business that are both beneficial to the city of Farmers Branch and our sister cities. And then the last would be to leverage the universities, community colleges, and research institutions through student exchanges and peer-to-peer research. There are 3 possible council actions that I'm seeking. The first is to reactivate the program in its current form, modify it to prioritize cultural and business economic benefits that have sought maximum investment for return, and then the last is to table it for further discussion or take no action. And with that, that concludes the Sister City presentation, and I look for direction on this current program.
Thank you very much. I believe this was Councilwoman Villafranco who brought this up originally, so I'm going to start with her.
Thank you so much for that presentation. I really appreciate it. I think that we should continue with the Sister City program with modifications. It sounds that Bassett Law was the only one that interested in remaining partners. And if that is the case, then perhaps we should consider dropping the other sister cities and maintain Bassett Law. But I would like for us to consider adding only Mexico, since they are our closest neighbor. More than half of our city is Hispanic. 40% of businesses from Mexico have some kind of a presence here in North Texas. We've already established a relationship with the Consul of Mexico. They're just waiting for us to say yes. And I think that we want more than just cultural exchange. Like, it's nice to go and have the Michelin star tacos in Mexico City, but I think we need a lot more than that. We need economic development. We need other kinds of partnerships. And then once that is rolled out and becomes successful, then we should consider perhaps adding another city at that time.
Thank you very much. Let me just interject that today we did receive communication from Germany. Is that what this is?
I believe so.
Okay. So it was in German, so I haven't been able to read it. But we will get that addressed. So I just want to put that out there. Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Well, I'm glad Germany reached out because, I have a soft spot for Germany. I just wanted to because I believe it's not that they didn't want to partner with us, we just hadn't heard back, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, so I don't want to drop them. I'd like to just kind of ease back into the relationship and hopefully build something up with them again.
Councilwoman Bent?
I echo what Councilwoman Lupe Gonzalez said. I don't think, especially if we heard from them, it would be different had we not. But if we've heard from them, I would like to maintain that. But I do agree, it does need to be Eco-Devo driven.
Councilman Reed?
I take a little bit of a different stance. For something that occurs once every 5 years, I really don't see the economic impact that we would like to have with these cities, and limiting it to one city seems very narrow. I would like to see us take the resources and just expand the overall economic development process, targeting areas, targeting businesses. I think that might be more beneficial if we look to target specific businesses versus a given city. Businesses that align with our values, align with our residents even. You know, as pointed out, we have a very high Hispanic community. So taking a look at businesses that would be in alignment with our community. So my take might not be popular, but my take is that we not move forward with the sister city program, and look be more laser focused.
Thank you. Councilman Neal?
Thank you, Mayor. I generally agree with the other comments that have been made up here. If we're planning to reactivate this program, I think it's important that we identify the specific goals that we wish to accomplish within this program. Sounds like one of them is economic development here, but even within economic development, I'd like to define what does that mean? What sort of goal within economic development? Does that mean we're going to try to attract one or two businesses? Are we going to gather information regarding service delivery aspects and how we provide services to our community? Maybe the sister city can tell us how they provide service deliveries to their residents. Just the definition of some goals for the program. You know, any policies and procedures that they might use for their residents that maybe we don't have, or maybe we have that we can share with them to, you know, to the mutual benefit of both sister cities. So it's kind of like a student exchange program in a way. So I just think it's important that we define some goals, and those are just a few ideas or examples. But I'm not opposed to not doing the sister city program. I just think that we need to have some well-defined goals as to what we hope to get out of this program, given the money what we're spending towards the program. So that's all, Mayor. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Councilwoman?
Thank you, Mayor. I'm sorry, I misunderstood. I thought I understood you to say that the others said they were not interested in continuing the partnership.
No, we hadn't heard back from them yet.
Okay, I am in favor of maintaining our relationship. We've had a relationship with them for decades, for many, many years, and I'm definitely in favor of trying to do everything that we can to maintain that relationship. And that being said, I'm also in favor of having other sister cities where there would be an economic development incentive. However, I think if we start with too many, it's gonna create difficulty. And so for that reason, I'd like for us to start with the one, and then once we roll it out, you know, look at another city, Taiwan, or, you know, whatever other city can be mutually beneficial. And so I do strongly believe we already have a great budget for Eco-Devo, and this money's already budgeted for, you know, sister city program. And I really do feel strongly that this would really benefit our city in more ways than one, more ways than Eco-Devo, culturally, building bridges, just so many other things. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. I'd just like to say, I do think I think all these programs are worthwhile to some extent. And I think we need to be careful. What is cultural exchange versus what is economic development and business exchange? And I would like my preference is for us to focus more on economic and business exchange. It's important that we have very well-defined goals and objectives for the program, and metrics also on how we are going to measure success. I like the idea of establishing a relationship with a city, and I will say to be determined, because I don't think we can sit here and identify one in Mexico, let's say, but they are our biggest neighbor. And don't forget, we have a lot of Hispanic business owners here. We have a lot of Hispanic business owners throughout the Metroplex, and we have a great trading relationship with Mexico already. Not to mention our city is at least 54% Hispanic. So if we're going to do something, I want it to be able to produce tangible business developments in our city. And Plano did this. They went to Taiwan, and through the efforts with the Taiwanese Chamber of Commerce, they were able to recruit 6 businesses that agreed to open up operations in Plano. That's pretty impressive, okay? So I would like to work with our consulate to say, hey, here's what we'd like to see. What makes best sense? I think we would be putting the cart before the horse to say, we want to have a relationship with XYZ City, not knowing if XYZ City has a business that's interested in being here. But and we just had a major company from Mexico move here to bring their headquarters here. So I think we have assets that we could tap within our own community already to help give us some needed direction, if that makes sense. So I'd like to see this more in a business sense versus just a cultural sense. Plus, I'm not too keen about just giving tax dollars away for people to go have free vacation.
Yeah, I agree, and that was the crux of my commentary is we want to focus on it from a business development, economic development perspective. So it seems limiting it to 1, 2, 3 cities is very constricting. I don't know if you probably don't have it right now, but when you do come back, I'd love to see if we historically, if we've had any other than cultural, any business successes in regards to the Sister City program. And talk about metrics, that would be a great metric to have to see where, how has our money been spent? What ROI have we had in regards to this decades-long relationship? And starting from that, let's see what we can do to improve that.
Mayor?
Yes.
My understanding is that it has been a cultural exchange, nothing more. This would be $20,000 every 5 years, and I feel like we're changing the dynamic by including and focusing more on economic development. And I think that we have already talked about this maybe 5 or 6 times, and I think that we really, really need to give some kind of direction. So do we need a motion, or can we agree?
I was going to say, first of all, I'm getting a sense from majority of council that we'd like to see this have more of a business and commerce aspect to it. Okay, that's number one. Is Mexico, would that be a acceptable place to start? 1, because of proximity, 2, because of our relationships, and as everything that I said before. I know there's one yes, I'm just looking for consensus so we can point him in the right direction.
But we're not narrowing it down to a city yet.
No, we're not narrowing it down to a city, but we've said, okay, we would like to explore with Mexico. I think we can't do that just yet. We still don't have enough information. We need to have dialogue with their consulate, and there are some folks that are knowledgeable about business and what might be able to serve our community as well.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted what Tina said to make, we're not just narrowing it down to like, it's just Mexico
No.
right now then. I mean, obviously love to have that relationship with them, but I would also just hate to just, all those years of being sister cities and we just throw it all away.
Yeah, no,
I didn't wanna
we're
do
not doing that.
Okay, yeah, I just didn't want to do that.
Okay. Okay. Wait a minute.
What,
I thought you had another comment.
yeah. I believe it's Uruguay. Isn't the Uruguay consulate here in Farmers Branch?
No, the Taiwanese is, and,
No, I believe,
oh, I'm not aware
there's
of
there's
that.
something like,
Guatemala.
Guatemala, that's it, thank you. Thank you, I knew it was another Latin American. That might be a starting point as well, since their consulate is here in the city.
Mayor, I was going to speak to that exact point. I don't have any objections to Mexico in any way. We do have a large population in Mexico, but I think we have some other Hispanic genres as well. Guatemala, for example, maybe El Salvador, other Central Americans. So I don't know if we ask economic development to maybe help do some research on what, if any, of those countries might be able to be viable option or not, or you just want to, again, I'm not against Mexico in any way, I just didn't know, because we're not limiting it just to Mexico. I want to make sure that we explore other countries as well.
You got,
So these are our immediate neighbors. We've already developed a relationship with them, number one. Number two, 40% of their corporate offices come here and open offices in North Texas, not from Uruguay, not from Guatemala, from Mexico. Number three, Manzanillo has become the largest port. They don't even have to go through the Panama Canal anymore. They are saving 5 to 7 days on all merchandise that comes from China and overseas because they don't even need to go through the Panama Canal. They have Manzanillo, that port. If we're able to develop those relationships with them, it would be powerful beyond words. I'm not alluding that we should only have Mexico. We certainly should have other countries as well. But I think that this is an excellent, excellent starting point. They would make sure that the place that would be the sister city, I'm sure, is safe for us to visit, and every other fear that we could possibly be thinking of. But I do feel strongly that this is really a good moment for us.
I think there's your direction.
Well, I'd just like to point out, Mayor and Council, that if we add the expansion city, the budget will increase.
Well, we'll address that
Okay.
in due order. Yes, sir.
Just to make sure from the council, since this is around the sixth time this has made it back for discussion, that we're clear where staff is going with this one. We're going to maintain the existing relationship with our sister cities in Friendship City, continue that outreach and prepare for either our visit or their visit and continuation of the program, and then also consider what it would be like at a future date, not anytime in the next month or two, but what the program expansion would look like, and then also as we prepare to continue the relationship, how we report back to the council with metrics. Is that correct from the council?
I think so. I think it's modified the existing program to have a more emphasis on the business economic aspect of the program, from what my sense is, the rest of council.
And can we go ahead and just solidify Mexico so that we can make contact with the Mexican consulate and start developing that relationship?
I think that's reasonable. You good with that? Good.
I'd like to make sure that we have the appropriate goals that we can share with Mexico. If Mexico is going to help us identify a sister city, it'd be helpful for them to know what are our goals for the city that they choose to help us with.
Okay. Well, we're not setting goals tonight, but, okay. All right. Are you good? Mexico? Yes. Oh, good. Okay. Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up is L2. Consider approving Resolution 2026-018, authorizing the professional service agreement with Burkhoff, Hendricks, and Carter LLP for the 2026 City of Farmers Branch Water and Wastewater System Capital Improvement Plan in the amount of $748,600 and take appropriate action.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. Reyes Alvarez, Director of Public Works. I'm here once again to present to you the water distribution system and the wastewater collection system 2026 capital improvement plan. It's going to be similar to what was discussed at our last study session. Again, just a quick background. We did raise the water wastewater revenues in order to prepare for this upcoming project. So again, just to talk about the utility system, there's three components to it. We have the administration, the operations, and the CIP. Administration being that, dealing with our wholesale contracts such as Dallas Water Utilities and the Trinity River Authority for water and wastewater respectively. The operations side is to make sure we keep those utilities running at all times and flowing and flushing with our lift stations, pump stations, and elevated storage tanks. And then what we come to today is for the CIP. The CIP is one of the biggest chunks of our utility system. It's what keeps it going to make sure that the infrastructure in place is robust and sustainable. We have some aging infrastructure in our system, so we're looking to tackle those on. What we prepared here with Burkhoff, Hendricks, and Carter was a 20-year plan. We're looking at it at a 5-year snapshot, 5-year CIP plan based on the water wastewater model we did with the financing consultants last year. And so that's what we're going to present to you here today and get it awarded to design. Again, it's a 20-year CIP plan separated into the 5-year plans. Mainly the biggest cause of the increase for the water wastewater rates. We came up with the scoring matrix that the consultants spoke about last time to prioritize those pipelines that need to be replaced. Therefore, whenever we take each project on, we're coming at it from an objective standpoint and not necessarily subjective. So starting with year one, it's going to go a little bit into, we're going into design right now. Should the council approve this, we're looking to get construction going towards the end of the year, and this will be the first year of the plan. It will be divided into 3 phases to kind of help us get these projects going. Again, the goal would be to bring that back closer to the beginning of the fiscal year as we get the running start here, maybe in about 3 to 4 years. But here's what we're looking at for phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. They're going to be distributed out the city. Just more of a breakdown for the 2026 CIP. Phase 1, you're looking at about $5 million. Phase 2, about 4.5, and phase 3, about $3.4 million that are going to go in construction later this year. The overall 5-year snapshot, as you can see, it's a approach that's going citywide, not just in one certain area, based on the matrix scorings that the consultant prepared for us. Here's a cost of what each year was going to bring us about. So for this year, we're looking close to $13 million. And with that, we're ready to go into design should the council decide and hopefully get this project under construction towards the end of the year. I'll answer any questions the council may have.
Thank you very much, Ray. We'll start, Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Just to clarify again, so whatever material we use, that beginning of the 5-year plan, it's still going to be in great condition by the end of the 20-year, correct?
I'm sorry.
Whatever material we use at the beginning of the year, at the beginning of the first 5-year plan, that material is still going to be in great condition by the end of the 20-year project?
Correct. We're replacing all this aging infrastructure with PVC. And so this is a material that has a 100-year usable life. And so this is what everybody in the industry is going towards right now is PVC.
Okay, and my second part of my question was, how long will the water be shut off for the residents?
So when we get down to construction, and we've done these projects before, typically 24-hour notice we give to the residents that are being directly impacted because we will have to shut the water off to make the connection. We typically give them a 24-hour notice. We have the contractor put that letter on the doors and knock on the doors to make sure they know. And typically when we shut them off, we try to shut it off between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. to avoid, morning times and evening times. So that way between 9 and 3, you're minimizing the disruption to those households. And so that's how typically it goes.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Councilwoman Bennett.
So you've taken this from a 40-year plan to a 20-year plan, and I really appreciate that. And so it will extend past that 20 years, basically anywhere from 80 to 90 years at that point before we have to come back to it. So I had asked a question of Ben, and you got it to me, thank you, very quickly, of what it would look like per linear, I asked for mile, but he gave it to me, or you did, whoever, per foot to bury the power lines to stabilize our grid for ice storms. And that was what, $10 to $25 depending on, per foot, depending on variables, trees and other things.
Yes.
So is that something you guys could consider if it's in a high-risk area of being able to do that? So our residents don't have to worry every time an ice storm comes to Texas?
So that's a tricky thing. We can look at it, so typically with utilities, everybody, for example, the city with the water and wastewater, we install our own trenches. Even the water and wastewater have their separate trenches. Typically for like Oncor, let's just focus on Oncor because there are multiple utilities on a power pole. So Oncor for itself has to have a certified contractor that they keep on their list. Not anybody can just go work on the utility. So there's one obstacle right there. Two is we can contact Oncor and see if they can give us a price of what it would be for them to design it and to get their contractors and to do whatever it is they do. It is a little bit pricey. It's much pricier than what our utilities are, given the dangerous scope that it is. But it is something we can work with. Should the council decide to do that, we can partner with Oncor and see if they're willing. But it takes more than Oncor to get everything off that pole.
Well, we learned with the Builders of Hope program that Oncor now requires that when you're replacing a demo rebuild, a full replacement, they're requiring that to be buried. And so that's kind of where the thought process, that was $3,000 that we didn't calculate in, quite frankly, because we did not know that they were requiring that. It's a new scenario, I guess, for them because
Yes.
we have big trees that.
No, absolutely, and that's for the resiliency of their stuff. So they are requiring that statewide to where if there's new subdivision, everybody's going to bury their stuff. But it's a retrofitting anything is always much more costly and just the reconnections of all the stuff. But we can take a look at it and see if it's something that makes sense for the city to bear that cost. But we can do that as we, whatever makes sense for the council, we can
Is
look at
there
those.
no way for them to bear some of that expense with us, since they are the ones that have started requiring it?
Yeah, typically, from my experience with them, they typically put that onus on whoever's developing or the city doing the infrastructure.
Councilwoman, I can speak to that in very real numbers. I just buried 428 feet of electrical power. It was $205 a foot.
Yeah.
You can do the math. That was over $88,000. So it's not cheap. They did the work really quick. And as you know, there were some additional concerns there, but I would say if you're going to consider doing it, you're in the neighborhood of $200 a foot, not 25.
That's just the number that I was sent back this week.
Okay. Councilman Reed.
Nothing for me.
Councilwoman Villafranca.
Thanks for the presentation.
course, thank
Super
you.
detailed and helpful. Do we need to make a motion on this?
Not yet. Councilman Neal.
Thank you, Ray. I don't really have any questions, so I would move to approve item L2R 2026-0018 as
I'll second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. If you would, please indicate your vote accordingly. Motion passes. Thank you very much. Okay. We do not have anything. Well, no action out of executive session. However, item D2 is being tabled at this time. So with that, that concludes the regular portion of,
Mr. Mayor,
yes.
didn't you previously say that there was going to be a public discussion and it was going to become item L3? Do we need to do something to remove that from the agenda?
No, we did that. Okay. We did that out here, I'm sorry, yeah, when we had discussion in executive session. So we had previously talked about having discussion about item D2 out here, but there is no action to take as of that, so we are not going to have any discussion out here on that, and D2 has been tabled as an executive session item. So L3 is not happening. All right, so now we will go back to our study session and resume with item C4, receive a presentation from the Parks and Rec Department on potential new locations for Liberty Plaza.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Robert Diaz, Parks and Rec Director. I'm here this evening to discuss the possible new locations for Liberty Plaza. This was an item that I believe Mayor Pro Tem Tina Bennett Burton brought up in November of last year, and we have looked at some locations, and so what we're going to do this evening is go through those with you. Whoa, other way. And just to give a little backstory on Liberty Plaza itself, it is an important place that we have in our system that we maintain. It's an area that we use, that residents use, and veterans for reflection and recognition and honoring their service and sacrifice. And the city continues to invest in our community spaces, and with that, we reflect our shared values and seek to elevate Liberty Plaza and really make it more of an area that's definitely more accessible. We do have the large flagpole at Liberty Plaza, which makes it stick out from I-35, 635 area. But from a resident standpoint and a user standpoint, it does have its challenges of parking and accessibility to the site makes it somewhat difficult. So what we're looking to do is just see how in possible locations we could relocate it where it makes it definitely more accessible to the public and those that would want to be able to take advantage of that space. So we've looked at 3 different locations. We're looking for some direction this evening on those locations. Really, all I'm here to do is just provide you, there's pros and cons to each of the locations. And so we'll just work through those, and then if you have any questions, we'll go from there. So the first selection is option 1. It's the Rose Garden or Keenan Cemetery area, which is not far here off of Valley View. The property is located in the dashed red line. It's west of the Rose Garden and north of Keenan Cemetery. This location fronts Valley View, which already has access. There's an entryway off of Valley View, has parking already in place, so we do have added infrastructure. This is a piece of property that was added to our inventory that was school district owned for many, many years. Actually, my mom taught there when it was Valley View Learning Center 30-something years ago. I'm going to put that little point in there. So I always like to tell people that I knew what that place was before it was just a parking lot. So that's that's option 1. Option 2 is the front of the Dodson House off of Farmers Branch Lane, the main entry into the park. This area sits close to Farmers Branch Lane. Of course, the entrance, being in the historical park offers amenities like parking and restrooms. But one of the disadvantages of this site is it would be under our operational hours. So accessibility would be a little bit not as accessible as the other 2 sites. And finally, we have another site located at Farmers Branch Park. Mainly Farmers Branch Park is known for its athletic complex, but we do have a small neighborhood park element there, and that's in the dashed lines. It has currently a playground, restroom facility, and parking lot and pavilion. We do rent that on a regular basis. It is one of our rental spaces. But one of the advantages to this site is that it's close to the Branch Connection. And the Branch Connection, as you know, is our site that we have for where we do our Veterans Day event on an annual basis. So some of the thought process behind that is the fact that with the adjacency, we could do some joint programming in regards to veterans and things like that, because we do have we already have the Veterans Wall that we have in TBC in the main lobby. So this would be a nice counter to that. It would basically complement those spaces. So that's the third option. And just to put it all in perspective a little bit, I just wanted to look at some other sites around Dallas-Fort Worth. Many cities have memorials, and I would actually say Liberty Plaza is a great space. And I think it is almost, when you look at some of these, I'd say Liberty Plaza is a template for some of these spaces. But just to give you an idea of what else is out there, you can see in the top left corner, you've got Coppell. That's actually a new park, a new memorial that just opened last fall. Actually, that picture is probably when they were still in construction. And the bottom right corner, you have the site, an overhead aerial view of McKinney's site. I've been to that site. It's got a wall there, and it varies for where you've got monuments, you've got walls. Everybody does it a little bit different. Plano's, in my mind, on the bottom right, is very similar to Liberty in a certain aspect because it's got a large center lawn with large flagpole, very similar in scope to what we have currently. And then Carrollton has, and I was able to get that live shot off their website, and it's got a really nice, it's the view to the lake, but it's a smaller footprint. It's definitely a smaller footprint. So you can see the scale. You've got large areas that can be used for the memorial, like similar to where we have currently like Liberty Plaza, or you have smaller footprint areas. And I do know that the site in Carrollton is adjacent to their senior center. And actually, Jackie Biles, our senior, our TBC manager, worked in Carrollton. And so he did say on many occasions, then they have events, they would just walk to the memorial and be able to have events. So when you talk about adjacency, you know, TBC might, that would be an advantage to that. So, and Carrollton does that. So, but that's all just to give you an idea of kind of what's out there, and I'm open to any questions you might have.
Thank you very much. This item was brought up by Councilwoman Bennett, so we will start with her.
Okay, can we go back to, I'm going to want to look at each of the sites. So you can go back to the historic park
Okay,
to start with.
there you go.
So you would have to take trees out there, right? And that was I know I was the one that had suggested the historic park. I think the mayor had suggested Valley View. And Councilwoman Gonzalez had said the other location. So it's quite the conundrum. I don't want to see trees taken down. So when I saw that's kind of where you guys were thinking, I was kind of, well, I don't really think that the operational hours changes anything. I don't think anyone needs to be there before 7 a.m., 7 a.m., or past 10 p.m. So, yeah, that didn't faze me at all. It's just trees. You're taking down more trees. So if you go to the other one off of, the mayor had wanted off of Valley View.
Let me go back. Hold on.
All right, so option number one. What else is allowed by right in that space? And were there restrictions given to us by the school district for what the space could be used for?
As far as I know, there's no restrictions. We own the property.
There's no restrictions?
Unless-
There are very much restrictions.
Oh,
Public purpose, educational purposes, as long as it's still fitting a public use, then you're fine.
okay.
It can't be sold for private use or commercial uses.
Excuse me.
Which
And
is
if-
why I lean towards that one, because it would bring something aesthetic right off of Valley View, because we can't, and that is a public space. It has the parking, it has the, Ben and I had spoken about, what it was going to look like over here with the, what do you call this, to the right?
Rose Garden?
No, the Rose Garden, the stage.
The amphitheater next door?
The amphitheater thing, and doing more veteran type of stuff there. So go to the one that Councilwoman Gonzalez wanted. Are there restrictions on that one? I think it's 3.
Well, when you say, because I know I had a question earlier about what we would do with that area. I think it just depends on, because like I said earlier, it's a neighborhood park, basically, with the athletic complex attached to it. What I would look at is if we want to have elements of Liberty Plaza there, we would hope to retain some of those elements there as a neighborhood park. It is a small site. You're only looking at 1.5 acres, no more than 2 acres. So, you can't do a whole lot. And we want to keep the integrity of the parking, because I would say the parking on all 3 options is a great asset to have, where we don't have to go, because that is a lot of money to put in concrete. If we don't have to do that, we can put it toward the actual memorial. But it's parkland, so we can update that and do what we need to do. If it's just like we're doing with Squire Park and any of the other park projects we're doing. So, it's different than the school property that we had. We do have some restrictions that I'm aware of now. So, but as far as I know on this, it's park property, and we can update it as we need to.
Okay, well, I'm willing to take mine off the table. I think it should be either off of Valley View or here, whatever anybody else wants. But the Valley View one makes the most sense, only because it is restricted. And it's an eyesore.
Okay. Councilwoman Gonzalez?
Out of lot 1 and 3, which one's bigger?
Let's see.
Right, one is valuable.
It's really close. One was that area was 1.59 acres. Let me go back to that one just so you can see. Oop, the other way. Okay, so this area is about a little over 1.5 acres. And then if you go to the third option, I want to say it's a little bit more. I think that one's closer to 2. Let me double check. Yes, it's 1.99 acres. So yes, right at 2 acres. So it's a little bit larger, but it's a little bit, it's not a perfect shape. Like, it's not a perfect square. It's definitely got, you've got some funky angles in there, but for the most part, and both these properties have the parking on them. So you're including that parking in it. And I want to say this parking lot's probably in that 15 to 20 spaces. The other one, it's a lot of parking. I want to say that one's probably got 30 spaces, maybe. Let me go look at that. Well, probably a little over 20, for sure, 20 to 30 in there. So,
But this one on option 1, would we have to work with just one side of that parking lot? Because are we going to leave that other side that's close to the Rose Garden alone?
well, I think that's where the next stage would be doing some conceptual drawings on 1 or 2 of the sites to kind of see how we would lay that out and how we would use the property, how we could possibly save trees. We do have trees on both. We have some trees at the Farmers Branch Park site. This one has some more mature trees, so I would definitely want to look and see how we would want it. And I think if we utilize the side that's close to the Rose Garden, we'd want to try to create some where it kind of fits together, at least on that portion of the garden. And who's to say if we don't, I'm not sure if we would use the island or not. That's kind of off on its own. I don't know if that'd be enough room. I think it definitely gives us some more flexibility to put it closer to the Rose Garden because we have. Now, it does have, the topography does change. Once you kind of get off the old school property, it does have that elevation change. So we'll just have to accommodate that. But like I said, there's pros and cons to each one, so.
Yeah, I really liked option 3 because of the fact that it's by the Branch Connection and they do have the Veterans celebration there. So I would like to see it there. Yeah, that's just my opinion.
Thank you. Councilman Reed?
Okay. I'm kind of torn. I agree. I think taking option 2 off the table might make sense, or to me, it does make sense. Where I'm torn is option 1, the Rose Garden. One of the goals is to increase visibility, increase access, and putting it right there in Valley View, I think, does that in spades. Additionally, as you pointed out, it's a space that we want for solace and reflection and remembrance. And I think that being right next to the Rose Garden, there's a Zen tie-in between the two. For that, it creates that type of area,
Right.
which really appeals to me. Option 3, as was pointed out, right there next to TBC, where we have a lot of our veteran stuff. But you had also said you'd want to, even though that space is larger, you'd want to keep a portion of it as a park.
We'd like to maintain some of it for some of the amenities, correct?
Right. So from a usage standpoint, we're not going to we wouldn't devote the full 2 acres to Liberty Plaza, and it is kind of an awkward shape. So even though it's appealing, for me, I think option 1, for me, it suits the Liberty Plaza concept better.
Okay, thank you.
Councilwoman Villafranca?
Thanks so much. I appreciate you. I just have a quick question regarding the branch connection. Would any of that area be compromised? I drive by there almost every day. There are kids playing and, you know, the pavilion is rented all the time. I would not want that to be compromised in any way.
Well, like I was saying earlier, we'd like to retain some of the, what I could see is possibly moving the pavilion, possibly moving the playground to a different location. But until we get into doing some of the conceptual design and looking at how we would do that, I would like to retain some of the elements of the park, of the neighborhood feel of that park. I wouldn't want to just remove everything and just put Liberty Plaza there. And I think we can do that, but I mean, that will be a little more challenging trying to leave everything there. And like I said, that is one of the pavilions that we do utilize that as a rental space currently, so.
That's my concern. I really like the idea of the Rose Garden because of the high traffic on Valley View. And I think that it's important, you know, when we drive by and you were able to sort of have a thought about the people that have sacrificed their lives for us in service. So I'm in favor of the Rose Garden.
Councilman Neal?
Thank you, Mayor. I don't know if I had a little brain lock here or what, but maybe I just missed this, but could somebody help me understand why we're discussing moving the Liberty Plaza and relocating it somewhere else?
That I know we're wanting to look at a more prominent site for it, as far as I understand. And access, correct.
There's like no access right now in that area. We
Okay.
frequent that area for hockey and it is a mess.
Right, I understand.
So-
And so if we are going to relocate this, what would be the costs? Do we have a projected estimate of how much money we want to put into?
We're not at that. We're just looking at sites at this point.
Okay.
So so the next steps would be getting some conceptual plans and estimates on those plans, and then we'd have some true costs for you at that point.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Let me just say, when I suggested option one, I had thought about the historical park, but I wanted a place of prominence, a place of feature, and something that would be seen, that somebody, even if they're just driving down the street and they look over, and it may resonate with them. So that's that. So I like the idea of the branch connection somewhat, so I would propose moving the branch connection over to the Rose Garden.
Okay.
No, I'm just joking. Okay. The problem with that site, in my mind, is one, the space is already encumbered with a little pavilion. There's also a basketball court there. There's kids playing soccer, baseball, basketball, whatever. There's all sorts of stuff going on. And I don't believe that it gives the reverence, if you will, that a site like this deserves. Now, Valley View, not perfect. There's more traffic, but I love that site because it's next to the Rose Garden. It's right next to a cemetery. This is our area of where it speaks to how we care for those who served in our deceased residents, in my mind. Certainly the feature and the visibility. There's parking there. I believe when I counted, there were 36 spots that were already there. Minimal disruption to landscape in terms of any affected trees, but depending on final design, it may want to move a tree or replant something else. I don't know. So I'd really be interested to see what comes out of some professional ideas as it relates to that. And, but I would like, in my mind, I'm thinking of feature and visibility to remind people that these are those who sacrificed for us.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Am I just crazy to think I know we don't want to move parking, but I just want more of an area there by the Rose Garden. Because I just feel like that part is so small. So I'd like to make it, I don't move the parking over and,
Then
just an idea,
we-
throwing it
we
out there.
could-
Just to make, like, if we're going to use up that space, like, let's make it a good, memorable,
We have room to work with.
right?
And
So like, I'd
The
hate
fact-
to, I
yeah.
feel like the island is the parking spot and we have so much space on both sides, like, let's just use up that space.
Well, they could put a row of spaces on the left side of the island, just like you have on the right side, and bring the curb over a little bit for the grass expanse. I don't know.
Just something, oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I think there is only one in ingress to
Yeah.
the site, and I would probably propose maybe even another one just to, and that's something when we go through site planning and review, that might be another good, it just is always easier having two access points into the property. So, but exactly, that island's so big, I mean, that gives us some flexibility there, just like the mayor is saying. So, once we start looking, we get some design, once we get a landscape architect kind of give us some feedback, I think we all will see some good options, so.
Well, thank you, council. Good
Okay, so
comments.
we'll move to getting some options on option one, and we'll bring those back for you to look at.
Sure.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Next up is item C5, review and discuss the city council travel and reimbursement policy to determine if amendments are needed.
Hello, Mayor, Council, Aaron Flores, City Secretary, Deputy Director, Administrative Services. And we're back tonight to discuss the travel and reimbursement policy. So we discussed the policy on October 21st, and council gave us some amendments that they would like to see in the policy. So we took those amendments to our city attorney, who drafted a red line version with some of those suggested amendments. Some of the red line changes in there include a deadline for reimbursement submission, some parameters on reimbursement items that can be requested by members of the council, and it would remove the waiver of stipend, the provision that was in there on the waiver of stipend. And that is all I have. I'm just here for direction. If we like the changes, if we need some more changes, I am open to suggestions.
Thank you very much. I believe this was Councilman Neal's item, so we will start with him.
Thank you, Mayor. I think you and I both had some thoughts on this. So I am one of the representatives on council who approves the expense reports for my fellow council representatives. And I've been seeking some guidelines on that, and I appreciate you bringing this forward. One of which is, which I think you have covered now, with the duration of timeline of which someone could submit for reimbursement. That's very appropriate, I think. One thing I was asking, or I did not see or did not find, is there a limitation, maximum amount of expenses that a given council person can expect reimbursement for, either for the year or per month, or I wasn't clear on reading that. Maybe I missed it.
So we did not put a limitation on the amount that could be requested because there are many events that some council members might go to that might exceed whatever limit we put on it. However, it is up to the will of council. If you all want to have a limit on it, that's fine too.
Yeah, I would like to see some sort of a limit with also a added language which would allow you to go over the limit, so that if the council were to agree to that overage, some language in that area. But otherwise, I think you covered the items in the red line document that I had been hoping to see. So thank you for that.
Okay.
I will just add, in some instances, I think it may be difficult, especially when legislature's in session and we get called and have to go really at a moment's notice for a hearing tomorrow, and no telling if that's going to be, one night 2 nights. There's so many variables, and I don't know that anybody has abused the privilege except one time with former council person, waiting a year, 11 months to submit an expense for reimbursement. Other than that, I think it's functioned pretty well. So, but let's hear what everybody else has to say. Councilman Gonzalez?
I think everything looks great. I am kind of hesitant, or I don't know, about having a limit on there, because I feel like there are some council members that go out and do a lot of things. So that's the one I'm just I'm not sure if we should do a limit.
I'm going to step in real quick for my counsel on this one. In the charter and your compensation is you're entitled to reimbursement for necessary expenses incurred in the performance of official duties. So anything y'all decide today, the charter's still going to supersede. So y'all would be, the opportunity would be to define necessary expenses, not the cap.
Okay. Councilman Ben?
Well, with that, I have nothing.
Councilman Reed?
Yeah, as far as the limit, I think that can be determined by the approval group as well. Again, confirming whether it's a necessary expense or not. So we do have means by which to maintain control over that. Other than that, I'm in agreement with the red line version.
Very good. Councilwoman Villafranca?
Appreciate that so much. I agree with Councilwoman Gonzalez that some of us attend more events than others, and every event that we attend is to be able to be better servants, be able to better serve our community. Councilwoman Tina Bennett Burton is active with Texas, the Municipal League, and those are important things that she comes back and is helping us to be better. I'll be going to Washington in March, so I think that placing a limit on it is, and also the charter basically would preclude us from doing that. But I do agree with the changes. Did we have an opportunity to discuss that other item that was added about you can either be reimbursed, you can either receive your stipend, or is this inappropriate time?
You asking me?
Isn't that what's on there, that you cannot waive the stipend? I think isn't that it?
Yeah,
So I think that's-
you
I
will
think that's
receive
what-
the stipend.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So like if you have your stipend, then obviously you can't be reimbursed up to that amount. So I
Well,
think
I'm
that's
talking
what's
about
there, right?
in lieu of your stipend, not receive a stipend for the year, and then, ask for a reimbursement for,
Actual versus
right.
stipend?
I think that there should be some kind of wording in there that we will receive our $200 stipend or $400 if you're the mayor, and that is it. And
Can I respond to that? So similar to what Ben was saying about the charter, the stipend is a charter provision. So you will be entitled to a stipend no matter what. This red line version proposes just complete removal of that language, so it would no longer apply. Can you scroll down, Christian?
In other words, you won't be able to waive your stipend in lieu of reimbursement for expenses. You get your
Just-
stipend,
Well-
period.
thanks for the clarification, I appreciate that.
Yeah, see, all of this language would be removed if this is approved.
Okay. Yeah, a lot of this was written for one purpose, and that purpose is not on the council. So, are we good? Oh, he was.
I'm happy to hear we have unlimited budget for our expenses. Thank you.
All right.
Well, we do have a budgeted amount that's approved in the budget, but yes.
All right.
So am I clear that everyone is okay with this proposed red line? Good, everybody? Okay, so we will bring this back on consent for
Yeah.
approval, and that is it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next up is item C6, receive an update from the mayor and council members regarding board liaison information from outside organizations and other meetings attended. Councilwoman Gonzalez?
I took part of the pit count with MetroCrest.
Councilwoman Bennett?
I, too, took part of the pit count with MetroCrest Services and have spoken, Ben, with how maybe we could do that better. But I also set up a meeting and attended with the mayor, our city manager, deputy city manager, and our chief of police for the Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport's IOC and Emergency Management and Real-Time Crime Center yesterday. It was amazing. Lots of cool stuff and fun.
Thank you. Councilman Reed?
Oh.
Oh, go ahead.
She was there.
Okay,
The pit.
sorry, good.
Clarify what the pit was.
Clarification for those that are listening, what is the PIT?
Where we went?
No,
Or-
the
oh.
acronym that we're using. The point, okay, I'll take care of it.
I'm sorry, I was writing
The
something.
Metro
so-
Crest Services point in time
Point
count
in
for
time.
homelessness. Sorry, so for everybody listening, when you hear the PIT, that's the point in time count for the homelessness, that there was a call for volunteers that our council members answered.
Sorry, I was writing something. Councilman Reed?
The only thing I have was attendance at the State of the City event.
Councilwoman Villafranca?
Yes, thank you so much. I attended the MetroCrest Services Board of Directors meeting. There's a great program called My Path that they've rolled out. I highly recommend you look it up. Attended the Charter Review Committee meeting and was part of the homeless count, the PIT homeless count, which is a point in time. And the government, federal government asks that everybody in the entire country do a head count of all of our unhoused neighbors. And I was able to come out with Lupe and with Tina and with one of our neighbors, Nancy, and we were able to identify 4 unhoused neighbors, and we were able to do a survey, and it was really interesting. Attended our MetroCrest leadership, which was really inspirational, learning a lot. Attended the Westwood School ribbon cutting. And just a reminder, this is one other reason to live in Farmers Branch. We are surrounded by the most amazing schools, including Westwood, Episcopal, Green Hill, Mary Immaculate, Envision has a preschool, and I'm sure there are others, the new Presbyterian School. These are incredible schools. One more reason to want to live here. I met with Rob Bliss of the Meeting Place to see how we can partner and do things together. I attended the Chamber Lunch and Learn, and I had an opportunity to visit the Haas Motorcycle Museum, and we're hoping that there will be some great partnerships coming from there. Attended the State of the City, and also attended the Campus Improvement Committee at the Early College High School. I just want to remind you, the Early College High School is the only high school in the ISD in Farmers Branch, and it is a wonderful choice for your children. I met for lunch with my mentee at the Early College High School, attended the finance orientation today. Want to thank everybody from the bottom of my heart. I don't think that we really realize the sacrifices that our staff makes to ensure that we are safe and sound in our homes. They make sacrifices of not even being in their own homes to make sure that we are safe. So, graciotas, thank you. And I also wanted to tell you that my town hall will be next Tuesday, February the 10th at 6 p.m. Mayor, colleagues, I hope that you can accompany me. And of course, everybody is invited. There's a lot of great information, and I can hardly wait to share all of it with you. Thank you.
Councilman Neal?
I'm good, Mayor, nothing.
Okay. So this been a busy couple of weeks since our last council meeting, and I want to thank staff at DFW Airport as well as Councilwoman Bennett for arranging for us to come out yesterday and be able to tour their operations center and get a behind-the-scenes look at how they monitor security for the airport and the terminals and the parking lots, everywhere on the grounds and in the air. It was very interesting to learn about all the drone incursions that they've had in protected airspace. So the technology that they're using to be able to identify all this is just, it's fascinating. I've been working with our Dallas County Commissioner, Summerman, and I've had 3 meetings with him in the last 2 weeks. 2 regarding ABLE eCare, which is a mental health option for our police officers to, or for law enforcement, I should say, to use when encountering situations with folks that are mentally distressed. I also worked to find 2 polling locations in Farmers Branch for him for the March elections. I attended Envision's dedication of Blake Lindsay Hall, which is, Blake Lindsay is one of their valued employees who passed away unexpectedly. I had lunch with our Congresswoman Beth Van Dyne. I discussed DART with her as well as some other local issues. As Councilwoman Villafranca mentioned, we were at the Haas Moto Museum. If you haven't been there, you need to go see it. It is unbelievable collection of motorcycles, vintage motorcycles. And I attended a DART canvassing that was put on by a group that I was not familiar with, Democratic Socialists of America, on Saturday. And they were going out to canvass homes and talk about the DART situation. And of course, on Monday, I was at, or yesterday, I was at the first Monday breakfast at the Branch Connection. Thank you for everybody who showed up for that. That is all I have. So next up is item C7, which is review and discuss future agenda items. Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Nothing for me, Mayor, thanks.
Councilwoman Bennett.
Nothing for me.
Councilman Reed. Councilwoman Villafranca.
Nothing, thank you.
Councilman Neal.
No, sir, I'm good, thanks.
All right. I don't have anything. So with that, we will adjourn at 7:28. I want to thank everybody for coming.